Social search. Everyone likes talking about social media. I noticed that. Social media is I think because there are so many parts to social media, all of a sudden now, social media has its own meaning. I find that when many people say social media, they only mean Twitter and Facebook. And that's only a small part of social media. I believe what's going to happen as the next few years come in the future, social media is simply going to be media. It's simply going to be a part of the way we do business. It's not going to be an independent part of development. You see, I can only remember a few years ago that there was Bebo, Friendster, and now no one uses them. Things always change. And so if your marketing plan is strong, it doesn't matter what social media is there, you will use what's there. Now, the danger of going too far into social media, you see, in the U.S., Pepsi did a campaign. They stopped all television advertising. They just stopped for 6 months, no television advertising. They didn't even advertise in the Super Bowl. And if you know anything about the American Super Bowl, that's when you have the whole country watching. No advertising in the Super Bowl. Instead, they did a social media campaign for those 6 months. They had 80 million votes, 3.5 million likes, and 60,000 Twitter followers from their social media campaign. Is that good? I don't know. Well, let me show you what happened in that same period of time. They lost, oh, that's not good. They lost 5% of market share in those 6 months. Estimates put that around 100 million in losses. They are now number 3 behind Coke and Diet Coke for the first time in 20 years. So while they had millions of likes, hundreds of thousands of new Twitter followers, people forgot to buy Pepsi at the same time. And what that taught us is you can't forget what made you. You can't forget what you were doing that was successful just because of new media. And so you need to incorporate media in a smart way. And this is, what's amazing to me is people think the only way they can sell now is through social media. And that's not true. Direct still works. In fact, email still works. IBM did a campaign. This was an international campaign sent out to IT managers. This was an email campaign where IBM said, "We will be your personal trainer." The email campaign cost less than $2,000 and brought in validated leads worth $4.8 million. Email. See, you can't forget what works. And while social media is powerful, you have to use it correctly. And I like to tell people, just because there is YouTube, there's Flickr, there's Facebook, there's Twitter, there's all of these things, doesn't mean that you have to use all of them. Use the ones that are right for you and your business. A great example is Will It Blend. Has anyone heard of this? Will It Blend? It is a very expensive blender. It's $400, not $40. And it's originally started out as a B2B campaign, but they decided to start blending things, and they put the videos on YouTube. I don't think this would have worked on Twitter, but it was an amazing success.
Will it blend? That is the question. I love my new iPad. It does a ton of cool things. But will it blend? That is the question. Doesn't quite fit in the jar, but I can take care of that.
No!
I knew I could get the iPad in a BlendTech Total Blender. I think I'll press the iBlend button. Woo. Oh, pad smoke. Don't breathe this. Ah, that was one tough pad.
Do you see what I mean about using the right social media for the right company? This is a product that you have to see what they're doing. You have to see the power of that blender. This really wouldn't work on Twitter. How do you explain it on Twitter? And see, that's what I tell businesses is you have to find the right channel that fits your message and not try to change your message to fit the channel. Another powerful thing about YouTube is that it's showing up in Google results. See, Google owns YouTube. So the more multimedia your approach in using YouTube, you can show up in the search results when people are searching for even the most simplest things, such as how to make some cookies. You can have your YouTube video show up there, and this is the fastest way now to get rankings for your business is to do it through YouTube rather than try to get your website on the #1 page. But still, the most effective social media is blogging. The Tin Basher is a blog. It's from a small metal shop in Middle England. Only 5 people work there, but they created a blog about what they do. But their message is simple, and that is the right people for the right job. And their blog carries that message in every article that they write. The right people for the right job. And you see, those 5 people have been able to increase their business. Their blog gets 50,000 visitors a month. They've had to grow to larger business area, and they now see that 30 to 40% of their income comes directly from the blog. Because the blog does more than just getting information out. It builds search results. It builds people, regular readers that will come back and get more information so you get the repeat business. And so before you enter a social media campaign, make sure that it is the right media for your business and make sure that you have your objectives and your goals clearly stated. Otherwise, you're not going to have much success. But the most important thing to remember about social media, and like I talked about earlier, the internet, the web, and search is becoming much more personal. And I find companies are spending a lot of time being social, but they're not being personal. And by that, they're not taking care of the customers they already have because they're too interested in going out and finding new ones in areas where they might not be so successful. So develop the customers you have. Be more personal in your marketing, and your customers will respond better. But always plan for change. Your tools will always change. Facebook may not be here 10 years from now. Twitter may die tomorrow. What would you do? Realize that your business principles must always be the same. The social media will always change.
Thank you very much. Anybody has question? No? I have one.
What about Google Plus on the social media?
Google Plus, it's a baby. It's an infant at this point. It's interesting. I was just in Norway last month, and I asked how many people were on Google Plus, and 90% were on Google Plus. It's Norway. When I was in the U.S., same number of people. I asked how many people were on Google Plus, and I had 2. Google Plus has a lot of problems that they have yet to work out, and that is the problem. Most other social media spread by word of mouth, and it was valuable, and it provided a service that people wanted. Google Plus is the exact opposite. Google wants you to use Google Plus because it's Google Plus. They're not really adding more value than the other services. And what we are seeing is that people just aren't as excited about Google Plus because almost like they've been told to use it rather than finding it on their own and finding the value to it.
Okay.
Hello. Can we create a Google Plus, let's say, elevator research results as it is with YouTube, because it's Google and people are searching on Google? Is being for your company on Google Plus will be a way for it to cheaply come out quite in the first pages of Google research, because it's Google again.
Right. We have not seen that yet, because that was one of the first things that Google knew that people would try. It was to get better rankings by getting their sites on Google+. So they have a lot of protection to prevent that from happening, because people are trying that. But to this point, it hasn't worked.
Oui, bonjour. Selon vous, est-ce qu'il faut, est-ce que le fait d'avoir des clics dans Google Plus va impacter la visibilité d'un site internet? Est-ce qu'il faut utiliser cette stratégie de clics sur les boutons de Google Plus pour impacter la visibilité du site?
It's about +1, the button. Is it improving ranking in SEO?
No. A tiny, very small amount. Not enough to... There are about 150 factors, and all are larger than this one. So it's a little bit, but not as important as everything else.
Okay. Anybody has question? Yeah.
In a few months, there is a new report within Google Analytics about social media interactions. Do you think it's a good KPI to track success from social media?
It's very difficult to track social media. Google is implementing more as far as likes, comments, and the difficult thing is that what you are tracking is people's opinions right then, not what they will be next month. And so the problem with social media is people are trying to gauge opinions, but opinions change, and they change very quickly. And so what was positive a week ago may not be positive next week. And so what you are trying to measure with social media is people's opinions, and that's very difficult to measure. And so what I like what Google is doing, but a bit, it's not, it's not a good KPI. It's a good thing to know, but it's not going to change my business. I'm still going to measure on what social media brings me sales, and I'm going to look at which social media I can use for customer service, and if I have good customer service interactions, those are things that I'm going to measure, are the things that, again, are important to my business and impact my business.
I had a question regarding KPIs. Are there any specific KPIs for social search, or should we use the same KPIs you mentioned before?
Same KPIs. Same KPIs. Really, it takes some creativity. One of the things we have done with, I never used to really like Twitter because Twitter just seemed like a lot of noise, and I never could track value from Twitter. But what I realized in short codes, you can put tracking codes in the short codes. So now whenever I send out on Twitter, I put a short code and I put Google Analytics tracking codes. So I know what day I sent it out, I know what the subject was, and I know why I did it. And so now, not just people who see the link on twitter.com and click on it, because without that, that's the only way you're going to track that. But with a short tracking code in your short code, now you can see the people that use TweetDeck, that use other apps for Twitter, and now I can see them coming to the site and what they have done as a result, and now I can track value. So finding ways, so that was one of the most exciting things, was finding ways to put tracking codes. And just like any other URL, you just put your tracking codes on the URL, create the short link, and now you can track all the links that you send out on Twitter of those people that come back to the site. And now I have value because it's now a channel that I can measure like every other channel.
Oui. Aujourd'hui, Google Shopping est un comparateur de prix. Est-ce que demain, il ne va pas devenir une sorte de social shopping à la mode Google?
It's about Google product, Google Shopping, and will it be integrated in Google Plus, as an example? Can we get that?
Google Shopping is a very good channel to be in. It will be integrating with Google Plus as people use that as a shopping engine. How much Google Plus will affect that? I'm not sure right now. The problem right now with Google Shopping Feed is they have changed, and many retailers have not realized that Google's shopping feed has changed, and they're losing business. Google warned webmasters about this 60 days ago, and so some webmasters got the email, changed their feed, and now they are making a lot of money because other businesses neglected to change their feed prior to the change. So right now it's very difficult to see how +1 is going to affect that. I don't think it will be major, much like the search results, but it will be a factor.
Today with your clients, what is the share of Google Shopping on the global business in average?
Usually about 5%. We still see more sales coming from organic search, much more. Organic search is still responsible for about 60% of sales, new sales. Google Shopping between 5, maybe 8%. It's still very minor, and that's more of a fault with Google. Sometimes they display prominent, sometimes they don't. And so you can see your sales go up and down depending upon how Google changes their display.
And is Google Shopping still free in the US? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you think it will stay free?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes. Google makes a lot of money, but one thing about companies that make a lot of money, they want to make more. And if you are using something for free, watch out. It will be paid for very soon.
Thank you very much. Last topic, which is the big piece, the
Yes.
webmaster tools.
Sorry, one last question for previous topic. Sorry, do you have some tips, maybe about Google Shopping and to rank better in Google Shopping for our website?
Number one is the feed. Your feed has to be correct all the time. Usually when we see problems with retailers, it is because something wasn't done correctly in the feed with all of their product listings. And so that's the first place that we look when they don't have good rankings, when they're losing sales. It's the feed, and that is usually the problem. The other side of it is unique content. If you are using content to describe a product that everyone else has the same content, you're not going to do well. And so you have to have unique content that is yours, and that will give you the ability to rank better than everyone else. It takes more time and more money to make that content, but usually you can get that in sales because it makes you unique.